Hello everyone, it's Peachy and welcome to the 4th annual African American History Month cast video series. I started this series to give a little black history on lesser known historical figures. There's a lot of history out there and I decided to use The Sims to showcase it. I hope you take a few minutes to check out some of the previous figures I have spotlighted. Also, I hope with each week during the month of February, you will learn something about someone you didn't know. But before we get started, I wanted to thank you for stopping by. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. Ready for the cast portion? Let's get started. Frederick Douglass Pollard Sr., better known as Fritz, was born January 27, 1894. Fritz grew up in Rogers Park, Illinois, a largely white suburb of Chicago. The seventh of 8 children, young Fritz experienced racism firsthand and learned from his family how to pick his battles and subdue his emotions in order to achieve his goals in a predominantly white world. A three-sport athlete at Lane Technical High, Pollard had notions of attending Dartmouth to follow in the footsteps of his older brother Leslie, but fate intervened. During a stopover in Providence in January 1913, Fritz had his first view of the Van Wickle gates sparkling in the sun. His career at Brown had begun. Fritz Pollard was a 5'9", 165-pound running back. He had the speed of Tony Dorsett, the elusiveness of Barry Sanders, and the tenacity of Walter Payton. By the time he graduated from high school, he was a talented baseball player, running back, and three-time Cook County track champion. He briefly played football for Northwestern, Harvard, and Dartmouth before receiving a scholarship from the Rockefeller family to attend Brown University in 1915. He was the first African American to play in the Rose Bowl in 1916. He was the first African American to play on a championship team in 1920 and the first African American quarterback in 1923. After leaving Brown, he served in the military and coached football at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania. In 1919, he received a telegram from cigar owner Frank Meade, who also owned the Akron Indians in the struggling Pro League. This brought Fritz back to football. His experiences with racism were no different from any other black person in America during this period. During both his college and pro careers, he was the target of multiple incidents of racial abuse. Many times, he was the only black player on either team and probably the only person of color in the stadium. He was singled out for rough play and endured racial taunts that were customary for the time. The haunting sounds of Bye Bye Blackbird, a song that was sung in his college days, still stung until the day he passed away. The abuse was at times so bad that he had to be escorted to the field just before the kickoff. During his pro career, there were times he had to change his uniform at Mr. Meat's cigar store or even in his car. In spite of all this, he, along with Jim Thorpe, became the stars of the league. His spectacular runs, his elusive speed, and his hard play earned the respect of all who played the game or saw him play. In 1921, he was officially the Akron Pros coach, but he also continued as their featured player, thus becoming the first black coach in pro football. When injuries took its toll on Fritz's body, he was forced to end his career, but he wasn't out of football. Sometime in 1934, on what was considered one of the darkest eras in sports, a so-called gentleman's agreement was reached between the powerful owners of the NFL teams to begin the process of eliminating black players from pro football. And no African American players played again until 1946. In 1954, Pollard became the second African American selected to the College Football Hall of Fame. He was posthumously inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2005. So did you learn something you weren't aware of? Guess what? There's always more out there to learn. In the description box below are links where I pull this information. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you're watching this. Be safe out there. Bye for now.